Today we're gonna do a little experiment to see how social media, the internet, and screen time mess with our brains. Let's see how fucked we are. Before carrying on a scientific study, you have to research, at least a little bit. And even though it's super annoying, after checking past studies, I've seen that many of them don't even distinguish between different types of screen use. I've also seen cross-sectional studies say that watching social media makes you depressed. But to know that, we need a longitudinal study, which means a study over a decently long period of time, like 10 years. The thing is, a longitudinal study costs a lot of money and a lot of work. And we don't want to go broke, do we? So, since we're super intelligent, let's take a study that was done in Lost Springs with 11,800 kids and teens whose brains were studied for 10 straight years. By the way, the study was not done in Lost Springs. You can imagine why. Out of those 11,800 participants, we're gonna exclude those who are missing basic demographic data, screen time data, and MRI scan data. So, we're left with 4,000 participants, which is not bad at all. Now we're gonna take the different types of screen time that were recorded and divide them into 3 categories: passive media, social media, and video games. Fun fact, Mark Zuckerberg always wears the same t-shirt, and there's a pretty curious reason to it. Comment if you want a video explaining why. Back to the topic. Once we've divided the screen times, we're going to analyze all the functional MRI pictures that were taken of the participants while resting. We will also take MRI data that measure the volume of different subcortical regions. An fMRI machine is the best invention ever because it lets you see which parts of your brain light up and go off, and the connections between different areas of your brain. In most studies, or at least in the ones I have read, they tell you to sleep and they measure you while resting. So we're gonna take the MRI and we're gonna measure all these things. You are not gonna read all that. Besides the MRI data, we are gonna take info from a questionnaire called the Child Behavior Checklist, which lets you measure several syndromes like depression, anxiety, attention problems, and stuff like that. It seems a bit complicated, but really, we're left with a study that connects 3 simple things. Now comes the really complicated part. I don't know if I'll be able to explain it, but I'll try. We're gonna do a statistical analysis to get the results. We'll implement a mixed linear model to find the relationships between these 3 things. We'll control the participants for age, sex, and ethnicity to eliminate strange variables that might pop up. That's actually really important. Then we're gonna model with a genius program the places where the data was analyzed, because yes, even if you don't think so, that can interfere with our results. And finally, we can figure out how destroyed our brains are. Yeah, I don't understand that either. Just kidding, if I didn't, I wouldn't make this video. For example, we see that more screen time is related to more rule-breaking behavior, don't ask me why. And more time playing video games is related to more antisocial behavior. But wait a sec, correlation doesn't mean causality. This means that video games don't make you less social, it can be just that less social people tend to play more video games. This makes a lot more sense. Up until now, the results don't tell us much, but let's get spicy. Thanks to the MRI scans, they found that more social media use was associated with a smaller volume in the hippocampus and the caudate. The hippocampus is responsible, among many other things, for learning and memory, and the caudate nucleus is part of a connection network involved in behavior and movement. So they also saw that more screen time is associated with less connection between different brain structures. These blue things are the significant reductions in brain volume and connections. But keep calm and hold up, because other scientific studies have found that moderate social media use, and by moderate I mean really small compared to how much most of us use it, improves your mood and cognitive ability a little bit. By the way, this experiment is not mine, I wish it was. It's done by 2 really smart Chinese guys, and like all experiments, it has some limitations, but it reflects reality pretty well. I was going to say I could make a video on how to spend less time on social media, but it's too easy and it doesn't even deserve a video. That's it. If you're not doing that, you're just fooling yourself. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you. See you in the next video.